Alright. Duke Inferno is dead. I guess Hoyoverse is just the type of company who would hype up a character so much only to kill them off screen. And I suppose the trailer was made to promote the future playable characters, which are his children, instead of to tease the Annihilation Gang's involvement in the Penacony questline. My criticism on the writing perspective aside, I never doubted Acheron's capability to end Duke Inferno, because considering my previous theory about Acheron as the emanator of nihility, she's basically a black hole in a human form. And what was Duke Inferno if not an elemental life form created from a destroyed star? Stars emit light, and black holes swallow all light. So that's pretty neat. Now let's go over some interesting points from 2.1 livestream and analyze the heck out of it while waiting for the new patch, shall we? Obligatory spoiler warning of 2.0 quest, so if you still haven't completed a quest, proceed with caution. Or finish the quest first. I'll wait. Also, it's been a while since I said this, but this is just a theory, and not indicative of the final result in the game. Discussion is welcome, but do refrain yourself from posting spoilers and leaked stuff, otherwise you'll be sent to the memory zone. Now, let's begin. First of all, at this point, I'm 100% sure that Acheron is the emanator of nihility. I've theorized about it in a different video, which I would link downstairs if you want to check it out, but to summarize and to add to my reasonings based on new information that we have, the black hole imagery is strong with Acheron. Starting with the brief scene of Acheron falling into a black hole in the White Knight music video. Then there's the pioneer diver of that water's relic set that heavily implies that Acheron was Freebas's companion who always carried a long blade, and that she tried to save Freebas as they later dove into nihility and started to lose all senses and memories. The flowers attached to the relic set are the same ones seen on Acheron's splash art and all over Red Acheron's body. And speaking of, that's one massive black hole right there. And another in the background during the livestream, and another one that was devouring Black Swan in Acheron's mind. Also, the dev said that they originally thought her path would be the hunt, but because of some unspeakable reasons, her path ultimately became nihility. Like, come on, what other unspeakable reasons could it be if it's not a story spoiler? Now, in relation to Acheron, they mentioned the rain. No, not me the person, the rain like the natural occurrence thing. They said every color it touches will fade away. I find this interesting because Acheron will also be there during our fight with Aventurine. We see her transformation into Red Acheron in the trailer, and isn't Aventurine the most colorful character introduced in Penacony? A peacock, Ratio called him. Besides, they also made a comment about how Acheron is someone who stands in the rain, while Aventurine hates to have his outfits drenched in the rain. So I think Acheron stepping in and helping us fight Aventurine will result in him losing the gamble, which could also explain how Trailblazer was dancing with Aventurine at the beginning of White Knight music video and finishing the dance without him. Maybe the fight will lead to his permanent demise, or he will retreat back to the IPC. Either way, I think he will take his exit at the end of 2.1 quest. Next, what is Acheron's real name? So we do know that Acheron has never been her real name. She perhaps took up that name after she became an Aminator, because Acheron in Greek mythology means the river of misery, one of the 5 principal rivers of the underworld. And because nihility is also depicted as a body of water, of dead waters to be precise, as referenced in the Freebas relic set. But what is her real name? With the horn shown in a flashback scene, the pitch in her idol animation, and the joke about whether she could cook or not, well, there's only one right answer to this question. Now moving on to Aventurine. He revealed that Robin's death was his bargaining chip. Now, in the Dreamscape when we first met Acheron, there was a memory of Ratio and Aventurine there. Ratio was doubtful that Aventurine would come out a victor, while Aventurine had the utmost confidence that he only needed 3 chips. One is Robin's death, but what about the other 2? Originally, I thought the 3 chips were Black Swan, the Trailblazer, and by extension the Astral Express crew, and questionably the family, in this case Sunday. But now that he said Robin's death was a bargaining chip, I'm starting to think that the bargaining chips aren't necessarily people who could help him achieve his goal, but it could be events that would lead us, the Trailblazer, to work together with him. And if that is the case, him revealing about Duke Inferno's death and Acheron's involvement in it could be one of those chips as well. It was, after all, the thing that he said and we eventually contemplated on before we finally agreed to work together with him. As for his boss fight, there is no surprise there. If you have watched the White Knight music video a lot, like I have, then of course you would also have noticed the split-second preview of Aventurine's other form. Combine that with what I said earlier about his absence at the end of the dance with the Trailblazer, the clues are all in the music video. Now, I know during the live stream they said that we are having a friendly match with Aventurine, but I don't think so. I think we would end up at opposing sides with him, because at this point, I believe the X-Files crew is trying to stop Penacony from sinking. Meanwhile, Aventurine, what is his goal? To Trailblazer, he said that he wanted to retrieve something that belonged to the IPC. Although he never specifically mentioned what, I could think of two things that could be that something. The first one is the old Penacony, a prison that was established by the IPC, which could explain what he means by to destroy this beautiful dream. As we can see in this scene, the glowing egg-shaped thing that he's holding, that could be the cornerstone that was confiscated from him by the family when Aventurine entered Penacony. Ratio said that without the stone, Aventurine was nothing more than a doomed Zygonian thrall sentenced to die by the IPC. So somehow, he managed to get his hands back on the stone, and so he could use it to destroy Dream Penacony. By doing so, there will be nothing left of Penacony but its original form, a millennial-old prison atop the memory zone. Or it could be a Stellaron, the very same one that erupted long ago before the ownership of the prison changed hands. I think it's still somewhere in Penacony, because caverns of corrosion and calyxes do exist in Penacony, and we do know that those are caused by Stellaron. Either way, his goal aligns with the destruction of Penacony, but it's also something that we are trying to stop from happening. We're trying to stop Penacony from sinking, which is why I don't think we are gonna have a friendly match with him. Or we could be, since Aventurine is a gambler, the bet could be Penacony's fate. If we win, he will not destroy the dream, but I'm still leaning towards the first possibility. As for the location, we will be fighting Aventurine at the Clock Studio theme park in Golden Hour, specifically the Clocky screening area. The theme park is said to reflect the city's history in the most authentic way, possibly meaning there will be clues about the Watchmaker and his legacy down there, which could explain why we're there in the first place. What's also interesting to me is the fact that Trailblazer has regrouped with the crew before the fight. Even Welt is there. Last time, we were still split up from the other three. Himeko and March were last seen talking with the Bloodhound family in the memory zone, while Welt stayed behind at Reverie Reality. Also, Akron is with us. Did she once again use her power to make us agree to team up with her? Or did she finally explain herself, come clean in a way, and that's why she has no problem stepping into her red Akron altar right in front of everyone? Because she did say this line.
It's only when the sword is unsheathed that those hazy memories start to become clearer.
Although we don't know yet from what quest or scene it's from, but it could be her finally explaining to us her reasoning for not saving Firefly, for not unsheathing her sword, and all that. Also, can I quickly interest you in some fun things I noted from the animated short Rondo Across Countless Kalpas? Black One said she had her gaze on Akron for quite a while, perhaps since she helped the NPC return the Lost Mirror in her teaser video, and so she investigated Akron by asking her for a dance to glimpse into her memory. However, if the other versions are also canon in which Black Swan engaged Akron in a conversation, she was definitely attempting to do the same thing because that is after all her proven method to collect memories. Akron is after the Watchmaker's legacy as well, at least she is, according to Black Swan. Also, Black Swan lies. She says remembrance doesn't lie, but memo keepers are known to trade, copy, steal, deceive, using every means necessary to collect precious memories. She admits so during the dance. Everyone lies. She is part of everyone. Also, since Duke Inferno is dead, apparently none of his children would come to Penacony. None at all. Strange marketing choices, but okay. And the horror that Black Swan experienced as she peeked inside Akron's mind. Black Swan thought she had the upper hand, leading the dance at first, only to be overpowered and led by Red Akron throughout the later half of the dance. Black Swan who collects memory and Akron who forget things, dancing an eternal rondo across countless kalpas. It's brilliant. Also, the new relic set coming in 2.1, Izumo Gensei and Takama Divine Realm, will probably have lore about Akron's homeworld. Her long sword might be one of the 12 sentinels forged on Izumo to defeat Yaoyorozu no Kami that descended on the planet from Takamagahara. All in all, I'm excited for 2.1. I have managed to avoid leaks and spoilers left and right, and I'm sure you're gonna enjoy this new patch to the fullest when it goes live. What is the one thing about the new patch that you're most looking forward to? Let me know in the comment below. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.